Check out. That night I stayed at the Islander in Glendale. So I went from Victorville, which is roughly an hour and 15 minutes away, and went back to Glendale and stayed at the Islander this time, just because it was like the end of the day. It didn't make sense to me to pay full price for a decent room. I go there. Now look, check this out. This is when stuff starts getting really weird. I get to the Islander no sooner than I check in. I'm in 209. Next to me is 210. I'm on the corner. There's nobody on the other side. The room next door to me is live streaming. Not live streaming. They're streaming some of my personal videos. Like, I can hear my videos playing. And her and the guy, they're having a good old time. They're having a good old time. So I go next door and I knock. Because I'm just trying to figure out where they got it from. I just had this crazy experience in Victorville, and already you're telling me, like, you got to be kidding. They didn't answer. But they're up having a good time. Okay, so I go to sleep, wake up the next morning, turn my phone on. Soon as I turn my phone on, I hear her tell him she has T-Mobile. So they're trying to hurry up and, plug and connect to me. Now, I don't know what the app is. I don't know how that might have been why they disabled my Apple phone. I was unable to get an Apple ID. Because they didn't want me to find that app. All right. If there's even an app, that could be a complete decoy. Because once I tell you this other stuff, you're going to know, like, it could have very well not have been anybody next door. So, I don't know what your carrier has to do with them being able to connect. But as soon as I turned my phone on, I heard them talking about which carrier I had and trying to get on. I hurried up and got dressed and got out of there. When I left there, I went to Long Beach. Stayed there for a day. Actually, I didn't go there till that night because I had running around to do. Yeah, I ran errands during the day. Went to Long Beach that night. Now, when I get to Long Beach, this is the first time that I actually hear. This is the first time I actually hear these people having a full-blown conversation. It's my brother, who I now know to be Keisha, and then a guy. At the time, it wasn't Woe. Woe didn't come in till later. So we got this unknown guy with Keisha. And then we have a voice that I know, my brother's. And they're going all the way in. I'm talking about, you name it, they said it. And it's all unwarranted. For the life of me, I can't figure out what brought this on. So anyhow, we had an exchange. They followed me to a gas station where I don't want to tell you I was about to fight. So anyhow, they did not do anything. They leaned back in their seats, in which I then left. But it's the truth. I don't mess with nobody. So I don't allow anybody to mess with me. Anyhow, I go back up north, headed towards Glendale, but I think I might have stopped in Anaheim. In which it was still this same thing going on, this same thing, but only they weren't present. So it was like it started in Long Beach. Just so happens they actually showed up. It was the weirdest experience. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how I was able to hear these people. I'm like, is it the Bluetooth in my car? You know, what's going on? Couldn't figure it out. So, anyhow, I ended up checking in at the Capri the next day. I'm going to fast forward. Following that, went back to the Regency. When I was at the Regency, I had a really odd experience too with the Asian guy near the police station. That was creepy. But anyhow, I made a police report while I was at the Regency, and because right outside of my door, there was a conversation taking place. Now, since I've been going through this long enough, not then at that time, but I'm saying since now I've been going through this long enough, I know exactly what it was. All she has to do is show up and be near in order to stage a conversation. With the chip implant, the RFID chip implant, you can create an experience. So they have a really sophisticated machine. And I don't know what all it can do. All I can do is tell you about what my experience was like. So the cops come. No one's there. And honestly, we don't know if no one was there because, like I said, they were in and out. But they wouldn't answer the door when they knocked. And, you know, there's nothing that the law enforcement can do about that. But like I said, a staged conversation, that's something to consider for that situation. Like it could possibly fit for that time. Because that's something that they do. They stage conversations. Following me. I'm just following along. I have a pretty detailed report here that I'm going by. Because when that stuff started happening in Victorville, I started kind of keeping track of what was going on. It was just too much for me. So now, Regency Inn, police report, stage conversation. I check out the 22nd of March. And this time I'm like, okay, so when I left Victorville, I went back to Glendale. Yeah, I didn't even go to Bellflower that time. Went back to Glendale. And I'm still having this experience, but it's worse than the last. It's not just a hacking thing now. It's a spying thing. They're spying on me. They're able to see me. They're watching me take showers. They're live streaming my showers. So now I'm like, I have to get away. This threw a complete wrench in all my plans. When I left Victorville, of course, as for the remaining, whatever I had left, you know, the money back for the 2 weeks that I didn't stay. So now I'm just bouncing around. This is throwing everything off. I checked out there on the 16th. We're at the 22nd now. It's throwing everything off. This is all time loss. Nothing's getting done. in real life. So I say, when I leave here, I'm going to go to Vegas. You know, just go up to Jean, Nevada, and get away. You know, just get away from this for a few days and give myself some time to sort all of this out. So I go and I stay at the Gold Stripe. I get there roughly about, I don't know, 4:35 a.m. Check in about 5:30. Keisha checks in right behind me. I just put it, not just now, but I'm saying being there. Oh, something I forgot to mention is when I realized I was being followed, I started keeping track of plate numbers. So that's how I'm able to identify who is where and whether I'm being, same plate number, same people. I'm able to identify it. I'm keeping up with all this. So at this point, I got roughly Nevada. By the time I got to Nevada, I had probably 5 or 6 plate numbers. 5 or 6 different plate numbers. So that's how I knew Keisha was present. I didn't only know because I can hear her now. Like, from the moment that I heard them in Long Beach, that experience, it didn't stop and didn't go away. It would take breaks. It wasn't constant, with everybody. But it was always present. It was always present. Nevada. She checks in right behind me. And I go and I get with the hotel security because I'm trying to figure out what I can do about this situation. I'm trying to keep myself out of trouble. Because I do a real good job at that. I don't get in no trouble. I'm a good, lighthearted person. So I explained to him the situation, make a report about it, and that was it. So when I walked through the parking lot, of course, I was able to identify the plate number. Anyhow, none of that matters. I've documented it. All this documentation is just for the sake of me getting in any, into any problems. I'm in a new place. I don't know a whole lot of people here. I'm just taking all of what I think is the necessary measures. So anyhow, this is when I realized she has to be close in order to stream me showering. And as I'm showering, they're commentating. They got plenty to say the entire time I'm showering. So that didn't bother me too much. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but it didn't bother me so much simply because unless I feel really, really threatened, I can maintain my zen. So yes, that's a problem, but I can't get law enforcement to act on what was taking place so far. How am I going to tell them that I can hear these people, I'm picking them up. They're watching me shower. They wouldn't do anything. So now I'm trying to piece it together. So I'm like, okay, how are they able to see it? If it's not, what if it's not an app? Satellite. Satellite is how these people are talking shit. He said, how did she know that? They watched me research it. Satellite. And once I figured it out, they knew it was going to be a problem then. So now